Last 56 years, 1970, April 22nd, has been recognized as Earth Day. Across our state today, there's all kinds of different events taking place to celebrate, ranging from cleanups, learning workshops. We're also, interestingly, sitting under a weather impact alert today due to high fire danger across most of Colorado. And it's not just people that are outdoors celebrating Mother Nature, but we're talking about anyone who's using power through certain companies. XL customers are facing potential new power shutoffs again today. So we got a lot of stuff we can talk about in this space, and we brought on a guest today to help us better understand wildfire risk and the power grid. Dr. Kyrie Baker with CU Boulder's School of Engineering, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is something that I feel like a few years ago when Colorado wasn't actively doing power shutoffs, we really weren't talking about this much. We were looking at California kind of as an example. Now it's almost becoming kind of a commonplace strategy every time we have really bad days, right? Like how are things kind of just evolving in general with the strategy for power companies here?
I mean, I think the Marshall Fire was a big wake-up call. There was some risk there with potential downed power lines causing huge fires and obviously huge damage. And then other states like Oregon, I think some others, in addition to California, of course, have been implementing these public safety power shutoffs. And it's sort of hedging against this worst case, low probability, but very, very disastrous scenario. So I don't think we should be using them as a replacement for like vegetation management and upgrades to the distribution grid and transmission grid that need to be done, but they are another tool to prevent these dangerous fires from happening.
As someone who doesn't manage these systems, it seems like so much to turn off and then slowly turn back on, and there's a lot of disruptions to the customers, but when they're off, there isn't a fire danger, right? Is it that simple?
It's basically that simple. I mean, if you think about electricity, it travels at almost the speed of light. It's really hard to control. It flows according to the laws of physics. You can't, shift it like you can around with water or gas in the same way. And once lines are energized, you can't control where those electrons are flowing. So if a tree blows into it and causes a spark, that's going to happen within a second or a sub-second. So the safest thing to do is to cut power. But it's very hard you can't just cut individual homes' power because you can't have forecasts that are that granular. So what they do is
you do wide swaths.
You do wide swaths.
Kind of best guess.
Yes, it's best guess, and it's you have to turn off an upstream transformer, which cuts hundreds of people downstream. You can't just choose individual neighborhoods in the same way as you can, shut off TV service, for example. It's a little bit more challenging.
In the world of academia, have you guys done much in the way of studying? Are we finding these effective? Can we pinpoint that we've avoided fire? Hard to say, right? If you turn off a power line, is it understood that probably we have though?
That's really hard to say. I mean, if you think about the 2018 Camp Fire in California, the most expensive natural disaster in the world that year, that was a rusty transmission hook breaking free in high winds and sparking against a tower. So that's impossible to predict.
Sure.
You can find a link between, aging components, aging lines, and fire risk, but we can't say for sure that these have prevented anything.
Sure. But could we get through a fire event without a single power line prompted fire and start to count those, perhaps?
That's true.
Is that one way? I don't know. I don't know how academia would even track this.
The climate's changing too. The weathers are changing. Extreme weather events are becoming more common. So the baseline is really hard to compare against. It's impossible to say for sure if we prevented something or not.
Yeah. It's kind of a gamble, right?
It is, it is.
And it's becoming a more common strategy. I always wonder this, I don't know if you can speak to this, as power lines start to move more underground, I assume that is less likely for wildfire risk,
yes,
right?
Far less
we
likely.
build out systems that look like that.
It's far less likely. The only issue with undergrounding lines is it's expensive.
Sure.
I've seen numbers ranging from $10,000 per mile to over $1 million per mile, even for neighborhood level lines. So it's not just a solution of let's just underground everything because those costs get passed down to us. So if you ask an average consumer, would you rather have no power for 12 hours or have your electricity bill be 10% higher? Some people are going to take the 10% higher. Some people are going to take the shutting off the power. So it's not a straightforward answer.
It's kind of interesting to be here in real time as we're exploring and experimenting with this in a state that is moving more and more often doing this though, right?
Yes, we're in a really interesting position right now in Colorado because we have this combination of an extremely dry year, very, very warm, and then vegetation that is creeping onto our lines, aging infrastructure that is failing. There's a lot of things that need to be managed at once.
Yeah, okay. Well, hey, Doctor, appreciate you coming in today and helping us learn a little bit more about that. Dr. Baker from CU Boulder's Engineering School.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You
Thank
too.
you, stay safe.